We're in Thailand with Global Blockchain Show, and today I'm with Suji from Mask Network. Suji.
Hello, Mia.
Welcome. It's good to have you on.
Yeah. Pleasure. Yeah.
How's been the social scene in crypto? Give me a good overview here.
Oh, I think like the decentralized movement, not only crypto, it's gonna decentralize everything, right? So start from financial vehicles like decentralized gold is Bitcoin, to decentralized finance, and eventually has to come to social entertainment. I think the initial attempts was around 2015, 2016. That time there was like ETH tweet. You have to spend 0.1 ETH to tweet something on blockchain, and that time like ETH was pretty cheap, so people still able to afford that. Then lots of people were attempting to do financial application on blockchains. It's very, very few entrepreneurs or a developer or stick on decentralized social or non-financial applications. And we were one of the team start from 2016. So Mask original idea was from 2016. It's almost 9 years. And we established our company, the foundation, in 2017. So since then, it was a long journey. It's still just a very, very early stage sector, but I think this is huge potential. Yeah.
Paint the scene, like for everyone watching, like what is Mask?
Oh, basically, we believe crypto use case or decentralized use case should be based on financial applications, and social network probably going to be the first one to achieve mass adoption. By mass adoption, I mean like 100 million user. It's not like say a few million DJ trading on chain. And obviously, we haven't achieved that. But what Mass is trying to do is we try to be the decentralized Tencent or decentralized SoftBank. Not only by building one product, like actually we have a suite of products. We start from a browser extension that you can do all amazing things, sending money, tipping, encrypted stuff like Filecoin, decentralized storage on Twitter and Facebook. We're starting from an extension, and we also have like a mobile app called Firefly, which Vitalik is a really active user. You see him like tweeting and showing a lot. And then we also have like Grant. We also have like dev shop. We also have like venture arm. My theory is decentralized entertainment network, decentralized social network should be a conglomerate of many different protocols, not only just say, hey, one protocols, because social and entertainment is much more complex than a bank or a financial system. It is much more complex. We need like much more interesting and diverse system. So that is what Mass is doing. We have Dev Shop, we have Venture Arm. We work closely with Web2 social network. We incubate and help Web3 social network. That's the social DAO. That is Mass Network. Yeah,
it's amazing. You said that the financial systems are not as complex as the social networks. Yes. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, I mean like Mia and Suji, if in the eyes of the financial system, it's just you got an account. You got like 10 account, 100 account maybe at most. And I got a lot of accounts. We just transfer money somehow. You purchase something, I purchase something from you, or we just tip each other. We're friends. We share lunch together. That's probably in the eyes of a financial system. But in the eyes of like our daily life and the social network or entertainment system, it's very difficult. It's very different. Maybe I tip you because we did a podcast or we do something together, right? Maybe it's because I don't really actually have cash. I'm saying, hey dude, I round off my like Thai baht. I need to go taxi. So I send you crypto, you send me OTC cash for other purpose. Or maybe we just on a trip together, or maybe we were just like, friends. Sure. It's very complicated. The level of complexity of social network compared to financial network, it is not like 10 times, 100 times. It is like, I say like 1,000 times or like 1,000,000 times maybe. There's different way of interaction between peoples. And if you include AI agents in this game, it has actually become much more mind blowing, because we can have like our AI avatars. They can talk to each other. So it's actually an endless game, and human beings evolve social before they have currency. They have social behavior way before they have currency, because we're hunter-gatherer societies back in the days, right? We still need to talk to each other. Oh, okay, I go hunting, you go gathering, right? We still need to do that. So this is actually a much more complex system than the financial system. If we want to bring these things on chance or in a decentralized manner, we need to have a lot of layers. So in DeFi or in crypto or CeFi, CDFi, maybe we only need 10 layers. We need Bitcoin as code, we need Ethereum as smart contract vehicle, we need DeFi for interest rate, for lending. Maybe we need like PayFi for some transactions, maybe some other stuff, maybe just 10 layers. But in social network, or entertainment things, it's 100 layers. It's much more complex. So that's a simple explanation. Yeah.
I think, like, to your take on financial versus social, I think humans have been transactional since for a long time. Yeah. Maybe there wasn't a currency, but there was a sense of like trading between humans. I do love the idea of decentralized social. And I think there's like so much that can be done. When you started building this, did you have a clear sense of direction, or you just like taking the first few steps with the notion that you would figure it out as you build?
Like most of our like experiments, or just reviving or bring back the things people love. For example, like 90% of Twitter's functionality was not invented by Twitter, the company, or X, the company, or Jeff Dorsey or Elon. Hashtag was invented by community. Ranking, trending was invented by community. Maybe just a search algorithm or the recommendation algo was like incubated inside Twitter team. Even the first Twitter official app was really crappy. They acquire a lot of these apps and make it become the Twitter app. And the Twitter Pro, like right now, the Twitter Pro dashboard was again acquired. So 90% of these things were not incubated or invented or developed within this company, within Twitter company. This is not like a single phenomenon. This is actually a global phenomenon. If you look at WeChat, if you look at like WhatsApp, Facebook, a lot of these features were actually originally developed by or initiated by users. What we want to do is we want to remove the limitation because of the regulations or because of these complexity or compliance within the big tech companies. For example, like if I want to tip you on Twitter, it seems like it's very easy, but it has many different layers. Okay, first, I need a DID, right? Otherwise, how can I associate your centralized ID into a banking address or like a Ethereum address? You need a DID. Then you need an immutable layer or some sort of like storage solution for the DID. You definitely can store that on AWS, but like how can you trust AWS's ledger? You need the different layers to do the verifications. Then what if I prefer this coin, you prefer that coin, I prefer this chain, you prefer that chain? Oh, that's another issue that may rely on DeFi, but DeFi doesn't solve the problem like how I want to receive money. It only solves the problem like, okay, after I receive money, I can cross chain, I can move to another chain, right? So you need all these things. Then there's a lot of things about like compliance and regulations, right? Let's say 90% of the OnlyFans creators were on Twitter. They try to promote their OnlyFans contents on Twitter. Say, hey, click this link and pay me on OnlyFans. The only reason Twitter cannot do this is they don't want to touch the storage of relatively sensitive content, including pornography. Twitter do support pornography in some sense, but they don't really want to monetize that for many reasons. What if this can be done decentralizedly, like pay to unlock, pay you $5 and unlock that? then you need to touch the Visa and the MasterCard, because some of them do not want to touch this kind of transactions. But this is, again, completely legal in certain countries, like completely legal in Japan, completely legal in Thailand. It is in the gray area in the US. It is banned in China. So it's a lot of like issues you need to solve. What if the guy is on VPN and you can't KYC whether that guy's from Japan or from other countries? So maybe he's just completely doing legal things. So that has become a much more complex issue that big companies do not want to solve. What we want to do back in the days was just say, hey, okay, I want to tip you $5. Super easy. And then you want to sell me some digital goods. That was before NFT was a thing. We start 2016, 2017. We know there were the NFT concept, CryptoKitty, but we were like never anticipating this is going to be a huge thing. We're like, oh, we're just selling the digital items, maybe on Twitter or maybe on Facebook if you like it. Yeah. Then in 2020, 2021, if you remember, Jack Dorsey sold his first tweet through a platform called Cent. He sold it for $2.8 million. Yeah. And we are one of the investors. We are one of the early incubator helping Cent team a lot. So that's just a gradual process. I just want to, revive the interesting stuff being initiated by those social platform users without the complexity of regulation and compliance, right? That's the thing we do. Then gradually people ask, I want to do new stuff. They want to say, what if I can decentralize my social graph? Just like Farcaster or Lens did today. What if I want to completely encrypt my data? Just like some FHG projects doing today, then DK project doing today. We just add all these things back to the platform. Again, I think these platforms can do that. They just don't want to. And they just don't have any incentive to do that. It's against their business model. Yeah.
There's the fun side of it. There's the social fun side of it, of like the social graphs and empowering the user. And then there's the side of allowing communication. If a country all of a sudden enters war and the government decides to cut social, this is usually a major problem because they can't communicate outside. They can't get help. People outside don't know what is going on really. So and it allows for fake news. So this is one of the main reasons why I actually really like decentralized social. I think if people can come for the fun, but then it allows room for that in case something happens, I think that's extremely powerful. Did you think of this, and did you design the experience thinking that this might happen?
Yeah, one of our most popular functionality was actually encryption back in the days. We started doing encrypted tweets and posts since 2018, I guess. And then we didn't expect this can be used in other cases. Like maybe just send like encrypted message. Then Filecoin and IPFS had a really huge launch around 2020, right? And they approached us like, we want to bust on mass coin, want to be partner with you guys. And also like RV people, they're doing the permanent storage. We become friends. Like, okay, so now not only encrypted text, we can also do like an anti-censorship like file storage on top of Twitter and Facebook. Then Vitalik and other East OG came to us like, what if this image is actually like a Lunar New Year red bucket? I can put $5 DAI in. So we partner with MakerDAO DAI around 2020 Lunar New Year, 2020 January, February. Right before the huge crash. The crash was like March, right? So everyone's really happy. We were doing some like random Lunar New Year give out. And I remember correctly that if I remember correctly, that time DAI, the entire DAI system only had 5,000 holder on chain. So it's literally only 5,000 ever used stablecoin DAI. And after our Lunar New Year campaign with DAI and Vitalik's Red Pocket airdrop, it actually increased significantly. Because people are like, oh shit, free money. I'll just click the for DAI. Oh, what is DAI? Oh, it's a stablecoin. Great. Again, you can never do this through a centralized manner. But one thing we did pretty smart is we were never trying to replace Twitter or replace like Facebook. Yeah, because I was I was helping all these crypto projects back in the days before I started Mask. I realized one thing, like sometimes we need a transition period, much more longer than people thought. Like back in the days before EOS, there was a project called BitShare. Okay. And they were the first group of people doing stablecoin. And MakerDAO founder Rowan was one of their committee members. They have the BitCoin, a bit like USD, all these kind of like synthetic stablecoin. And NZAP is not working. And NZAP it is the fully collateralized, it's relatively banking collateralized stablecoin USD takeoff. So our approach is like, oh, you don't need to leave Twitter. You can just stay on Twitter. You don't need to leave Facebook if you are a family member or your grandma and friends are on Facebook. You just need to add a layer on top. Just like if you're using USDT and USDC, you're still using the US banking system, onshore or offshore, but you don't really feel that system. Abstract away and give some time the profit or the impact of the system on top of it are going to be much more larger or much more powerful than the underneath infrastructure. So we treat Twitter and Facebook and all these things as kind of like infrastructure. And we never try to say, hey, replace that. So it's a fundamental difference. Yeah.
What were some of the struggles you had like coming up until now? Because it's been a few years.
I think the largest concern I have, and I share this concern with many OGs and SocialFi or Web3 social developer, is this community is small, but we don't really talk to each other. We're like fighting retardedly, I think. Like, for example, even Google, Gmail, and Microsoft, Hotmail, or iCloud from Apple, they don't like each other, obviously. These big companies were having bad days back in days. But since they're all building on email protocols, you can send to each other, right? Like my email can be sent to your Google mail, even I'm using an Apple email. But right now, if I'm using Dance and there's a friend using Farcaster, and there's other like Web 2.5 friend use Blue Sky or like Matchdown or like using Mask, it's not even compatible. It's against each other. And that is the craziest thing I ever experienced in this industry. Because when we were building DeFi, there was a lot of people building bridge, DK bridge, like all these kind of bridge, layer 2, 3, 4, 5 bridge, trading bots. They try to fill this gap, and the investors are chasing them. I remember 2020 when we were raising money. I'm also like angel investor in many DeFi projects. We're like, oh shit, that's a new bridge. We should invest in that. That's a new like cross-chain solution. Yeah. Layer 0, Arbiter Finance, LeFi, all of these things are great. Pretty high valuation, but like if a project founder right now came to a VC, say, hey, we are building a bridge between Farcaster Dance, Matchdown, Blue Sky, and Twitter, Facebook, they were like, oh shit, it doesn't have too much value because people are not like using your protocol. It's having a hard time, especially for these people try to merge the difference. And I'd say like a lot of projects, they purposely try to build something very difficult to migrate or to be compatible with others, purposely because they can raise more money from VC or say, hey, we're different, like we are better somehow. I see. Yeah, that's a huge concern. If this small community do not collaborate, again, it's just 1 million users, right? The entire on-chain social is probably like less than 1 million users. Blue Sky, Matchdown, which by the way, we are one of the largest donor to Matchdown, they separately have around 10 to 20 million users. But compared to 100 million users, compared to Twitter have today, compared to Facebook, WeChat, it's just a small, tiny bot. It's not going to work.
Yeah. I mean, it would work in the sense of if one is predominant, which I think this is why there's so much competition. If one is predominant and there's a surge of new people joining the industry, I could see, like the mainstream like person online, they will just go for the top thing that comes on the list. They might check second, third. So I think competition comes from that. I do agree with you. I think at this stage that the industry is at, there should be strong sense of collaboration, just as there was earlier. There's been less. So whoever's been early can sense a sense of like more entitlement and more, I'm not going to blend with others. I'm going to just, my company is going to do like solo, which is a stance, and it's might be good for brand. They might think it's good for brand, but it hurts long term because together we go further, right?
Definitely.
And I definitely agree with you. I think the sense of competition is very Web2 as well. This industry has achieved a lot through collaboration. So, I'm curious, how do you see it like playing out? Like, think maybe, sorry to say, like 5 years, within 5 years, how do you see like the Web3 social scene?
I think we need to really give up the attempt to like say, hey, we completely destroy the previous Web2 social network. It's not going to work. Stablecoin take off. The first wave was 2017. It's the main reason was like China, the Chinese government banned crypto trading. They didn't ban crypto mining that time. So if you're like OG like in Asia, you're like, I still can mine like Bitcoin, but how can I sell these Bitcoin if I don't sell that to the fiat currency? Maybe I just go Coinbase, but like, usually bank account won't allow you to do super large transaction if you're a super OG guy. So they just go to Bitfinex and sell them to USDT. That's the first reason, the first wave. Then the second wave is 2020 DeFi. USDC take off because you can farm all these tokens using like your LP tokens. You become like LP of all DEX, and you become LP of all these like farming and lending stuff. And people prefer USDC, and they also use USDT a lot. And then DAI, synthetic other alternative stable coin. For the interest rate, right? When the Fed interest rate is only like 1%, you can provide 5 to 10 safely on chain. So that's the second reason it took off. But even today, the whole stablecoin system or DEX system were never attempt, or there was never a success attempt to completely get rid of the banking system. Because again, even DAI right now, MakerDAO, DAI, have around like 20 to 40% of their collateral was a centralized stablecoin. Is that a good thing? In long term, definitely not. But in short term, a lot of like normie users, like my family members, like my friends doing Web2 business, my friends doing like import export business, they're like, crypto is great. I have a Coinbase account. I have USDC. I have like finance on USDT. They don't really care that much, right? I think the same thing will happen for decentralized social or entertainment, right? Like we're not only like for Mask, we're not only just betting say Twitter like app. We also want to see a new TikTok like app or a new like music social app. But I do remember clearly, like around 2020, 2021, I was doing a lot of angel investment. And in 2022, we formed our own venture vehicle. It's around like 50 million venture vehicle, and we have 100 million like balance sheet for FOF and direct investment. It's not big, but again, we're super focused on consumer social. A lot of people were pitching us, okay, this is a new music app. We're gonna completely kill Sony Music and completely kill like Tencent Music. I'm like, dude, do you know like how many old songs like those like top tier Blackpink, top tier like Michael Jackson, the copyright was completely purchased by these guys. And and if your user wanna just listen to these sounds, are you gonna just tell them, okay, we're gonna we don't like them, so it's not going to be supported. Like user don't really care.
Yeah.
You need to find a way to bridge them in. That's not only for music. That's also for like gaming content. That's also for social content. Last month, Firecaster did a very interesting experiment. They tried to mirror the post from Twitter to Firecaster. They are using some kind of API, obviously, and we are not investor of Firecaster. We do invest in their ecosystem. We do like work closely with some of their team member, with some other like team members. But one thing was like, oh, I realized they were never seriously talking with Twitter. Yeah, because like Twitter is a huge company. X is a huge company, especially under Elon. The management definitely is like chaotic. They were never trying to reach out to Facebook or Twitter like 100 times. We did. Yeah. And obviously the outcome is not good. Some of these like social giants don't like us. But we just, attempt to talk to them. Personally, I talked to all these Web 1, Web 2, or traditional social giants over 1,000 times. If it's not working in Japan, I just fly to Korea, like talk to people in Kakao. If not working Kakao, I just flew back to Japan and say, hey, SoftBank just acquired Line. Maybe we should have another conversations. Flew back to Hong Kong, talk to Tencent. And even Vietnam, they have their own social network. We need to talk to them. Just like how Tether and the USDC talking to all the banks. And certainly, it's definitely 1,000 failed conversation, but some banks say, hey, we're going to support it. That's how they have this huge liquidity, and that's how when the DeFi come, you can keep pumping the money from the Web 2 to Web 3. I do believe there will be some huge case or huge news, like maybe one day in 2 years after the Trump administration banned TikTok, or there's some like data leakage from TikTok, say, hey, huge data was leaked to Beijing. So maybe people were super concerned and they want to move to Web3 social.
Yeah.
Maybe that month people want to do that. But you need to build a consensus and a bridge, not only among one group of people. You need to talk to every social builders, Web 1, Web 2, and that spent years of times, and we're doing that. I do feel the other company building social networks, they do not want to do this because this is definitely waste of time. But this is something I think we can push the industry forward.
Suji, anything exciting coming up for Mask? Oh
yeah, so for Mask, we have a new interesting app called Firefly. I mentioned that briefly. We have a complete support for Twitter timeline and Twitter feeds, and also the Twitter DM. All these things are going to come to it. Again, our attempt was never say we can destroy the traditional Web 2 social network. We're going to be compatible. Like, oh, okay, you can log in with Twitter, but we're going to create a Web3 wallet for you, and we're going to give you some like tip, some points, some coins. Right, and we're going to add some layers on top of that. It's compatible with all the other players like Lens, Firecaster, Blue Sky, Matchstone. Doesn't matter. They can fight each other, but we want to be compatible. So that is the exciting news.
That's great.
Yeah.
Suji, for everyone watching, where can they find you?
Follow me on Twitter. Just search Suji, and or I'm also on like all these social platforms: Lens, Firecaster, Matchstone, Blue Sky. Yes. I got like 200 social accounts. I'm a big social believer. Yeah.
Likewise, Suji. Thank you.